Well, there's another one off sick.
How many is that now?
Nurse Sedgwick, Nurse Black, Nurse Barker, Nurse Packett, Nurse Relf, Nurse Greenaway, and Nurse Fox.
Sheila, we are in big trouble. This flu epidemic's wiping out nurses left, right and centre.
Well, you needn't sound so surprised. You know they all do it on purpose.
Get the flu?
Yes. The minute one of them gets it, the others all sit round their bed inhaling the germs. Every year we get some new virulent strain. Red flu, Asia flu, Peru flu. The minute it hits Dover, they all leap into bed with a bunch of grapes. Mind you, they leapt into bed with worse things. So how many are off sick?
Nurse Sedgwick, Nurse Black, Nurse Barker.
Can't we draft in some replacements?
Those were the replacements.
We are now accepting dustmen, so long as they've got a white cardboard hat and a watch.
Oh, Joyce, do you know how many of our nurses are off sick?
I'm sorry, I can't deal with that now. I've got a very serious problem.
The little shop in reception run out of sherbet bonbons?
No.
Who's the chemist has slapped 20 pence on a packet of stick-on fingernails?
I said serious. Can't you see I'm a quivering bag of nerves?
Well, no, not really. I mean, since you lost all that weight, you don't quiver with quite the same intensity.
Joyce, if we're short of nurses, then it is your job to do something about it.
Oh, yes, it's always my job, isn't it? Every boring, niggly little cock-up is my responsibility.
They're not all boring. The National Health Service offers a range and variety of niggly cock-ups envied the world over.
Look, all you three come in and do serious, important things. And what do I get? Some cleaner storming into my office because the head's dropped off his mop. Or him complaining because all the trolleys have got wobbly wheels.
I'll have to tell someone.
Well, it's not very nice being the person everyone thinks of when something wobbles, squeaks, rattles or drops off.
Joyce, you do important things.
Like what?
You got that bird's nest removed from the gutter outside Casualty.
Well done.
Brilliant.
You see, the problem is my normal scrub nurse has been off sick for some time now with this flu bug business.
Yes, I know.
And while the young lady I now work with has memorized the names of countless instruments, she's not entirely sure what they look like. Consequently, when I ask for Ferguson forceps, I get anything from a tourniquet to a lavatory brush.
I'm sorry, she's doing her best.
Oh, good Lord, yes.
There's no one else available.
No. Incidentally, do you like chocolates at all?
Sister, I wonder if you could solve a small problem. The scrub nurse I had yesterday doesn't pass instruments the way I like them to be passed. One rather gets the impression she was trained at Richmond Rugby Club. Whilst I'm not averse to going round after each operation, wrenching scalpels from the wall, I am getting tired of wearing a suit of armour. So if there is another scrub nurse available...
I'm afraid not, no.
I'm willing to offer 2 videos and a bottle of Blue Nun.
Just a minute.
Any film you like. Hello, Dolly, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Of course, when I say chocolates, naturally I mean Swiss liqueurs of the very finest quality.
You don't want to work with him. 3 hours of ear, nose and throat would bore the pants off an eggplant.
I work with Mrs. Sabatini, and there's no point in trying to bribe me because I've been a nurse long enough to know my duty.
Ah.
Of course, if anyone mentioned a black leather bolero jacket with gold braid round the edges and a matching skirt, we could be in business.
Joyce, I am sorry that we didn't take you seriously. But if you really have got a problem, then Jonathan and I would like to help.
If we can.
Look, if you need money or medical advice...
No, thank you.
Then what's the problem?
I've been offered promotion.
You stupid tart. What? When you are offered promotion, that is not a problem. A problem is when you're caught short in a traffic jam.
Sheila, you don't understand. They want me to go and work upstairs.
So, now you've lost weight, you can go up in the lift.
It's all politics up there. You're expected to have an opinion about things. And all I know is I'm against crocodile skin handbags. Also, what if they ask me to do something and I don't know how?
Like what?
Like work the photocopier. I'm just not sure what to do.
Stone me. If I were you, I'd be up there like a shot.
You would?
Joyce, that place is your spiritual home. They spend all day gas bagging, they have 3-hour lunch breaks, and even the blokes wear shoulder pads.
Down their trousers, mostly.
And all the goings on, my God. They have the only stationary cupboard in Britain with bunk beds and a minibar.
There would be a small increase in salary.
Well, there you are. It's perfect.
You mustn't go, obviously.
What?
You mustn't go. Joyce, you're the only administrator in this hospital who's actually doing anything worthwhile. You're working on the front line, actually doing things that directly benefit the patients.
3-hour lunch breaks.
I'm trying to tell you that you're indispensable. I mean, look what happened when you were on holiday in Austria.
Sheila, I told you that in confidence.
I'm not referring to your brief excursion through a pair of lederhosen. This place ground to a halt because you're the only person who knows how to handle a Portuguese cleaner with a hole in his bucket. You also have nursing experience, surgical experience. What on earth can they offer a woman like you upstairs?
3-hour lunch breaks?
I'm going to make your life such a misery.
It's an absolute scandal. Here we are, desperately short of nurses, while the paediatric wards are bursting at the seams with the damn things.
I'm sure they're all busy.
I do not call making false noses out of plasticine and pelting each other with dolly mixture busy.
But they have to amuse the children.
My dear fellow, this was in the staff room. The children were all perfectly amused watching Open University on TV.
Yes, well, as I think I've said before, it's all the result of poor administration. We now have so many clerical staff that 50% spend all day ordering dockets for the other 50% to requisition the chitties needed to order another crate load of dockets.
Well, quite.
Look at Joyce. What does that woman actually do except run up and down this corridor endeavouring to explain why the laundry has lost 27 pairs of trousers, why all the clocks are showing the precise time in Abu Dhabi?
I'm quite convinced she only runs in order to dry her nail varnish.
We'd be better off with Betty Boop. Neil, listen, can you get me out of a slight fix? Fix? Or just a smallish problem with Sheila? All you have to do is go and tell Joyce not to take this job upstairs because she's far too important to the smooth running of this department. And, you know, we all think she's wonderful, efficient. George, you've always got on quite well with Joyce. I mean, would you nip along there and just tell her... Giles, how would you like to earn 15 quid?
So all you have to do is go along and convince her not to accept the job. Just tell her that we all appreciate the work that she's doing and that we think of her not just as a colleague, but as someone who really... I'm sorry, I didn't mean to whip you up into quite such a frenzy.
I just think if she really wants to go upstairs, it's not fair to stand in her way.
She only wants to go because Dr. Haslam made it sound like a stud farm for retired administrators.
It is.
And that's your only reason.
No. I also think it's not fair on the person who's going to be taking over Joyce's job. I mean, if Joyce doesn't go, that person's going to be very upset, I should think.
Yes, I expect so.
I mean, a promotion like that might solve all that person's financial problems. She could afford to rent a bigger flat. And her boyfriend wouldn't have to do this awful part-time job just to make ends meet.
Yes, of course, it could go to a man who already lives in a condominium with a boyfriend who's just won £600,000 on the bingo, possibly.
I need that job.
Cheryl, you're the best scrub nurse in this department.
I'm the only scrub nurse in this department. All the rest are lying in bed watching Sesame Street. It's time for a change. I need the challenge of doing a job.
Grindingly boring enough to wilt a pylon.
Sure, there's bits of it that aren't boring.
Cheryl, there are bits of it so boring they would send chills up the spine of Ivan Denisovich.
I still think it's the ideal job for me.
Why?
You get 30 quid a week more for doing it.
I will never know why they make newspapers this size. I spent 10 minutes reading it, 3/4 of an hour folding it. Look, if you're still angry because I advised Joyce to take that job...
No. I think it's worked out for the best in the end.
How do you mean?
Well, apparently, if Joyce goes, Cheryl Patching becomes unit manager. And she and Michael are so desperate for money that he's having to do some awful part-time job just to make ends meet. Why? What have you done?
Nothing.
Don't give me that. I know what it means when someone pretends to be interested in the Horse of the Year show. You've done something.
Well, I didn't know. I mean, for God's sake, it took me 20 minutes hard bargaining to get them to do it.
Yeah, who to do what?
So we all feel, for the sake of the smooth running of the department, we'd rather you didn't go.
I don't know what to say. That goes to Mr. Copeland as well.
You're a wonderfully efficient person and totally irreplaceable.
Well, I'm stunned. In that case, I'll just have to stay.
Excuse me. Could Sheila have a word with you three? My dear fellow, we're doing it.
Yes, I wonder if you could just spare a brief moment.
No, we can't. I still have more to say.
Also, we not only think of you as a colleague, but someone we all look up to and respect.
Thank you.
So have you decided where you're going to have your goodbye party?
Actually, I've decided not to go. Oh, Sheila, I can't let all these people down. They've almost begged me to stay.
Oh, don't be daft. It's wonderful up there. She must go.
Yes, yes.
Of course, working upstairs would be a marvellous opportunity.
Well, exactly. Chance of a lifetime.
But if you say I'm too important for the smooth running of this department...
Oh, you mustn't worry about that.
No, that's our problem. We'll find a way to soldier on. Don't you think?
It does sound like a marvellous opportunity.
Precisely. And, by the by, if we should club together for a little leaving present?
Leaving present?
Of course, we'd be extremely sad to see you go.
I'm not going.
But
what?
it's a marvellous opportunity.
I don't care. I've decided I'm too important to the smooth running of this department. And I can prove it.
Joyce!
Well, you messed that up good and proper. All right?
Yes, thank you. No major mishaps so far.
How do you mean?
Right. I want a nurse over there by the swab rack and one more over there by that bucket.
She is kidding.
Joyce, I'm warning you. If you are rubbish, I shall say that you are rubbish. The only thing that I may not do is use the word rubbish.
Don't you worry about me. I was a scrub nurse for 12 years.
Yes, but in those days, the cure for this was a boiled frog and a red-hot poker.
Joyce, are you sure this is a good idea?
We happen to be very short of nurses, and at times like this, those of us with vast experience in all areas of the department have to muck in with the rest.
Yes, all right, let's get on with it, shall we? Nurse?
Would you mind passing the prep, please?
Giles? We do not care if she minds. Joyce is the scrub nurse. She is not Princess Michael of Kent. We just say, Joyce Prep.
Joyce Prep. There's no need to sound as if you're going to beat her up.
It just feels a bit strange.
Come on, Joyce.
Right. Prep swabs. Now, I've got the towels and clips ready, so just say when you want them.
Oh, good. That'll save me the trouble of sending a fax.
Towels, please.
What?
Towels!
Everything all right so far?
Yes, thank you.
Well, I don't think I did too badly, do you?
No. Jonathan, if you get home before me, would you take the lamb chops out of the freezer?
Right.
I have to admit I was nervous, you know, after all these years.
Perhaps you'd prefer pork?
No, lamb's fine.
So, everything was all right then?
I told you everything was all right. What do you want, a Blue Peter badge? I told you were okay.
Well, I think I was more than just okay. In fact, I think I was very good.
All right, then. You were very good.
Oh, no. It's too late for that now. It's quite obvious. My efforts have been totally unappreciated.
Joyce!
But that's all right. Because from now on, I'm afraid I shan't be available to help out.
Why not?
Because I shall be upstairs in the stationery cupboard having a 3-hour lunch break. Hello. How are you?
Joyce, you know how I am. You asked me 10 minutes ago when I came through that door and you came through this one. Plus, you asked me 4 times yesterday, and every time you say it as if we haven't seen each other for 3 weeks. When you know damn well that since you went to work upstairs, you haven't been up there for more than 5 minutes.
I now work in personnel, and it's part of my job to go around checking on staffing levels.
Well, I've got news for you. They're one short in personnel.
Oh,
the same as I was 15 minutes ago. I'm a bit better than I was when I bumped into you outside the changing room, the linen cupboard, and slightly to the left of that porter with the water on his chin.
I'm just doing my job.
Joyce, look, if you feel that you've made a mistake...
No, I don't. Do I look like someone who's made a mistake?
No, you look like Bugsy Malone.
This is the way we all dress upstairs, where, I might add, I am deliriously happy.
Oh.
Of course, if Cheryl's having problems...
No, I think she's settled in quite well, as it happens, yes. I mean, once she'd emptied the cream bun crumbs out of your filing cabinet and prized a lump of nougat off the dangerous drugs book. Oh, by the way, she's found a pamphlet on how to work the computer.
Oh?
Yes, you have to switch it on, apparently.
I knew that.
Well, I mustn't hold you up.
No, actually, I am in a rush. It's nearly time for lunch.
It's only 9:10.
Yes.
Morning.
Morning. That's quite normal. I hate this job.
Now, Cheryl.
Oh, well, it's awful. It's all phone calls and bits of paper and pushing buttons. I don't care!
Look, Cheryl, it's bound to feel strange at first. You've only been unit manager for 3 weeks. Think of all the wonderful things you've done.
Someone kindly explain what's wrong with the clocks?
There is nothing wrong with the clocks. Cheryl's had them fixed, so they're now telling the right time.
My good woman, if they're telling the right time, I expect to be told they're telling the right time. I've just panicked a porter into going for a patient who was still unpacking his pyjamas. Apart from which, after 6 years of the clocks being half an hour slow, if they start telling the right time, people will assume they're broken. I really find all this needless tampering absolutely infuriating.
You see, I can't cope with all these people coming in to complain.
Nonsense! You just have to be diplomatic.
Excuse me. Yes, certainly. You're intending to go in there, are you?
Why?
No, that's fine, my dear chap. Please, carry on. One is straining at the leash to see how it's done.
Some good news. Nurse Patel, Sister Cooper, Nurse Wisniewski, and Nurse Dodd are all back at work.
There you are, you see?
The bad news is they all work at St Mary's. What's up?
Nothing is up. Cheryl was just saying that being unit manager isn't all it's cracked up to be.
Well, you took over at a rough time. All these nurses on holiday with the flu.
That's not fair. Every one of them has sent in a doctor's certificate.
Of course they have. They're all going out with the doctor.
You should do is try and avoid any more outbreaks.
That's impossible. If I gave you a jab for every kind of flu there is, you'd have more holes than a Braille version of Chambers' Encyclopedia.
I don't just mean the flu. There's all sorts of things. Hepatitis.
Well, surely we've all had our hepatitis jabs.
Apparently not. I checked up with the Occupational Health Department.
Listen, I'm going to have a cup of tea.
No, Jonathan, I think we should both hear this.
And they said quite a few people hadn't bothered. Thank you.
Oh, Jonathan, come on.
All right.
Can't be that bad.
Sheila, if the nurse who gave me this jab had been Spanish, she'd have been a blasted bullfight.
Hepatitis jabs?
Well, of course, they're dreadfully important.
Yes, but surely they can't make us have them.
Good Lord, no. All they've done is put a notice on the board, signed by Sheila Sabatini, reminding us to have them.
No,
With a list of people referred to as a bunch of spineless cowards.
surely she doesn't expect anyone's going to be intimidated by that.
Excuse me?
I take it you tore it down.
My dear chap, my name was as prominent as yours. What do you think I did?
Well, quite.
Excuse me, could I just...
I'll let you 10 to 1 Joyce isn't there. It's lunchtime.
She must be there. She wasn't down in the canteen.
Third floor?
Top.
Joyce! This is it.
How do you mean?
Joyce,
the rear gunner on a Lancaster bomber had more room than this.
I find it quite commodious.
If you mean it's like a cleverly disguised lavatory, so do I.
You haven't even got a window.
Yes, I have. And when it gets stuffy, they give me a picture of an open one.
Look, we didn't come up here to poke fun.
Well, I'm glad to hear it, because I am extremely happy.
No, but we just popped in because, well, you weren't down at lunch.
Well, I couldn't go down to lunch. We had a slight personnel problem in your department.
Ours?
Rubbish! The flu epidemic's almost over. We've only got one nurse still off sick.
No, you haven't. You've got 7 nurses and 14 surgeons off sick.
Quite positive that nurse thought she was making a kebab.
I really do feel awfully queer.
Cheryl?
I hate this job.
Look, you mustn't blame yourself. They're all just skiving off. There's nothing wrong with Jonathan, look.
Right, everybody out. I've got things to discuss with Cheryl.
Oh, but look, just don't worry. You're doing fine.
Now, as you know, I now work in personnel.
Yes.
Which is marvellous fun, very exciting. Anyway, I was lying on the sofa in my office this morning next to the drinks cabinet, wondering why a nurse of your experience should want to work in administration.
I don't. It is awful.
Good. Now listen, I've fixed everything. You go back to nursing.
I don't earn enough money nursing.
How much do you want?
What?
Well, if I can't upgrade one of our best nurses, I'm not much of a personnel officer, am I? And I happen to be a very good personnel officer. I've already found the next unit manager.
Going back to nursing?
Yes.
Excuse me.
But I thought you didn't earn enough money nursing.
But that means he'll have to go back to his awful part-time job.
I don't mind.
I know you don't mind. You never stop doing it.
It's a good job.
It's disgusting.
The money's good.
You don't need the money.
I do it for nothing.
Look, what exactly is this job?
When I come home.